There you go. Get some messy, weird, undiagnosed, weird one. How she is watching her favorite calming stuff for the soul. Why I haven't clicked like? What's happened? What? Beep beep. But
Hi
the beep
everyone,
beep
this
is
is
too
Rob Owen
painful in my
speaking.
ears.
A question we get a lot on this channel is, what is autistic stimming? As someone who wants to respect your time, I'll try my best to keep this video
I want
succinct,
to smoke.
but also cover enough about this topic so you can
Just
be
eat.
informed. The short answer would be, stimming is a way for autistic people to get their wiggles out, but that doesn't really do it justice. Stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior, or stereotypy or stereopathy, and everyone does it to some extent. If you've ever impatiently tapped your foot, or chewed on a pencil, or twirled your hair, that could be called a stim. It's you and your nervous system's way of regulating emotions or impulses via a repetitive behavior. When it comes to autism, it gets a lot deeper. And before we get too into detail, it's important to note that autism is a spectrum, and there's no way for one small video to cover every example and every scenario of stimming. So just know that this video is a guideline to get you started in the right direction and is not intended for autism diagnosis or anything like that. As you can see from this footage, my 3 sons are stimming. They were all diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and all of them have similar and different ways of stimming. Basically, autistic stimming is any repetitive behavior exhibited by an autistic individual that is difficult or impossible for them to stop, be it rocking back and forth, flapping arms or hands, or making odd movements with the fingers, making repetitive noises, whistles, or other sounds such as growling or clicking, or even repeating words or small phrases over and over again. There are other kinds of stims, and please let us know in the comments if you have different examples. Now, later in development, some autistic people will try and mask or hide these behaviors to try and better fit into society. Fortunately, as more people are educated about these behaviors, it's not as stigmatized as it once was, and many are more accepting of these behaviors. Having said that, there are times stims can become very undesirable, if that stim is harmful to oneself or others. This generally is the exception and exists with those who are much more in need of special care. But it's worth mentioning in case you see someone in protective gear or a parent who's trying to keep their autistic child from hurting themselves or others. Usually these kinds of stims deal with hitting or biting.
I have to look.
Lastly, many people want to know what causes autistic stimming, and this really can vary from person to person or vary within a person. It just depends. It can be caused by external noises, sounds, lights, and other high sensory factors. Many people are aware that a lot of autistic people like to avoid high sensory areas. On the other hand, sometimes autistic people crave sensory input and may start stimming to generate that input, and many have stated they love the feeling stimming gives them. Some will stim to reduce anxiety or to, yes, get their wiggles out.
I love the fucking feeling.
For many, stimming is like a steam release valve. If they are kept from stimming for too long, it can be incredibly stressful or painful for them. Some people, like my son Connor, don't even realize they are stimming.
Being happy.
He told us it was like breathing to him. He doesn't think about it. Stimming just naturally occurs for him. Stimming can also be a good indicator of an oncoming meltdown, so it's good to watch for those signs if a loved one looks stressed out while stimming. So in short, while you don't have to be autistic to stim, it's usually much more common with people on the autism spectrum. It can take all kinds of forms of behaviors, but the key is that it's repetitive.
I want to be a mom.
It can also be caused by one reason or multiple reasons. And lastly, if you see someone stimming, please don't be judgmental. Remember that most likely you have stimmed in your life. They probably look different, but different doesn't mean better or worse than. It was just different. If stimming becomes harmful, we ask that you seek professional help from a doctor, psychologist, neurologist, or other licensed person familiar with autism, and they may prescribe medication, therapies, or other aid. If you'd like to see more examples of stimming, please click on the link above or watch other videos on our channel. Thanks for your time and take care.
And even if, as soon as I watch it, it looks weird for me. But if I not watch, gosh.
Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. And if you did click on it, you saw the thumbnail and you know this is about Tears of the Kingdom.
It messed up
and specifically how it helps those on the spectrum.
It messed up everything.
So I want to thank our patrons for making that possible because they gave us the money, and then a
Oh,
couple of them suggested we get the kids something nice,
it
and
missed
this
my
is something nice. So thank you.
my.
And
Thanks.
what happened was we wanted to surprise the kids. At first, we just brought them over to a line, pre-order line. Hey, buddy.
And I
At
have
GameStop.
some hair in
And
my
I screwed up the
eye.
dates. For some reason, I thought it was coming out that day on the 11th, but I don't know why I thought that. But we ended up all standing in line, and then that didn't work out because we didn't have a pre-order, so we all went home. Kids were kind of disappointed. I was disappointed,
Where are
thinking
we?
that we weren't going to get this game. But I snuck out
Where
early
are
today and decided.
This is what I wanted to click on.
Hi everyone, this is Rob Owen speaking. A question we get a lot on this channel is, what is autistic stimming? As someone who wants to respect your time, I'll try my best to keep this video succinct, but also cover enough about this topic so you can be informed. The short answer would be, stimming is a way for autistic people to get their wiggles out, but that doesn't really do it justice. Stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior, or stereotypy or stereopathy, and everyone does it to some extent. If you've ever impatiently tapped your foot, or chewed on a pencil, or twirled your hair, that could be called a stim. It's you and your nervous system's way of regulating emotions or impulses via a repetitive behavior. When it comes to autism, it gets a lot deeper. And before we get too into detail, it's important to note that autism is a spectrum, and there's no way for one small video to cover every example and every scenario of stimming. So just know that this video is a guideline to get you started in the right direction and is not intended for autism diagnosis or anything like that. As you can see from this footage, my 3 sons are stimming. They were all diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and all of them have similar and different ways of stimming. Basically, autistic stimming is any repetitive behavior exhibited by an autistic individual that is difficult or impossible for them to stop, be it rocking back and forth, flapping arms or hands, or making odd movements with the fingers, making repetitive noises, whistles, or other sounds such as growling or clicking, or even repeating words or small phrases over and over again. There are other kinds of stims, and please let us know in the comments if you have different examples. Now, later in development, some autistic people will try and mask or hide these behaviors to try and better fit into society. Fortunately, as more people are educated about these behaviors, it's not as stigmatized as it once was, and many are more accepting of these behaviors. Having said that, there are times stims can become very undesirable, if that stim is harmful to oneself or others. This generally is the exception and exists with those who are much more in need of special care. But it's worth mentioning in case you see someone in protective gear or a parent who's trying to keep their autistic child from hurting themselves or others. Usually these kinds of stims deal with hitting or biting. Lastly,
Once I hit my head hard on the table, on the wood table plate. My mom was in the kitchen next to me, not watching, just arguing with me. And all she said was, "Don't be that loud." I had some horn for quite a while because of this.
People want to know what causes autistic stimming, and this can vary from person to person.
Someone showed me
vary
this.
Within a person.
I hadn't
It
have
just
to
depends.
do this.
It can be caused by external noises, sounds, lights, and other high sensory factors. Many people are aware that a lot of autistic people like to avoid high sensory areas. On the other hand, sometimes autistic people crave sensory input and may start stimming to generate that input, and many have stated they love the feeling stimming gives them. Some will stim to reduce anxiety or to, yes, get their wiggles out. For many, stimming is like a steam release valve. If they are kept from stimming for too long, it can be incredibly stressful or painful for them. Some people, like my son Connor, don't even realize they are stimming. He told us it was like breathing to him. He doesn't think about it. Stimming just naturally occurs for him. Stimming can also be a good indicator of an oncoming meltdown, so it's good to watch for those signs if a loved one gets stressed out while stimming. So in short, while you don't have to be autistic to stim, it's usually much more common with people on the autism spectrum. It can take all kinds of forms. Is it possible for someone who's not autistic to just don't get enough of it and doing it for now 1.5 years soon? Because I got
to realize that what was suffocating me teilweise, partially, was that I was stiffening myself to not do something like that. I also walked on my toe tips for all my childhood until I got too heavy to do that because no more energy left to do it. Because gravity is discriminating fat ones. And I feel not that fat any longer, but I think it's because the phone camera captures my face, not, but I want to hit my head with something.
Forms of repetitive behaviors, but the key is that it's repetitive.
I just
It
want
can
to
also
hit
be
my
caused
head
by one reason or
hard.
multiple reasons. And lastly, if you see someone stimming, please don't be judgmental. Remember that most likely you have stimmed in your life. It probably looked different, but different doesn't mean better or worse than. It was just different. If stimming becomes harmful, we ask that you seek professional help from a doctor, psychologist, neurologist, or other licensed person familiar with autism, and they may prescribe medication, therapies, or other aid. If you'd like to see more examples of stimming, please click on the link above or watch other videos on our channel. Thanks for your time and take care.
The klingeling is too ouch on my ouch. What's happened?
Are you doing dinosaurs?
T-Rex is my favorite dinosaur.
T-Rex?
Yep.
Mine is Triceratops
Alright, doing good.
and Heliopteryx.
Alright, was it loud in there?
Yeah.
Did it hurt your ears at all?
No.
So you're good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. He's on his medication right now. He's doing pretty good. Pretty stellar, I'd say.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey, Smooth Chi?
Yay!
I need to be mother.
Yay!
Is it
Imagine
just
if
my
the little
biology
light sparkled.
who's telling me?
He'd be
Yes,
stimming like
I
crazy.
Sparkle!
Sparkle.
Imagining when a trigger is getting stronger, that you get screamed and yelled from being yelled yelling to someone, being yelled by someone. I'm not sure, but my mom's always just was, and in her eyes she's talking totally normal. Even if I recorded it once to show her how asshole she behaves, and for her it was the proof that I was the one who was raising my voice. Yes, I am raising my voice when you interrupt and interrupt and interrupt and don't letting me finish. I will try to get my sentence out and then give up. Just a little bit. Whoa! Some boom! Kaboom! I want to punch my head.
No, it's okay. Just breathe. Here, you want a hug? You want a compression hug?
By now I had some
It's
punishments.
okay, bud.
No TV
Talk to me,
for
buddy.
4 weeks. No sweets
me.
and candies for 4
to me.
weeks.
You can play again. If you breathe, listen.
Your books got locked away in the kitchen so that there is no fucking way to distract from the pain inside of you. I learned way too early how to scream without a
Okay,
sound.
take a deep breath. No,
By
take
now
a
I'm
deep breath.
starting to
Go like this. You want a hug?
learn again how to scream it out.
No, don't do that.
Don't hit your head. But sometimes the only way to get it stop. That's how I'm feeling sometimes.
Ian, it's okay.
And that was what my brother had
So sad.
when he was a child. Don't know when he started to rather shut in than let it out. And if it's still happening. He's not the talking about emotion guy.
You don't know how to turn it off?
But I think he knows
Okay,
that
it's all
if
off
he
now.
wants,
It's off.
I'm
There you
always,
go.
always there.
You're okay. Just breathe. Better? No.
Usually I would do it way down, but
Okay,
that
no, don't
the
go inside
video
yet. You
can
need to
see
cool
it.
down. You need to cool down.
I try to be in
Stand over here.
camera range.
Come here, Ian. Come here. Let's do it together.
That's
Here,
not
here,
a
here.
happy stem right now
Breathe in.
because
Breathe
I
out.
had
Deep
need.
breath. Deep
I
breath.
am and was and
Like this.
will be every now
breath.
and then in the need for someone
breath.
to tell me how to
Let
breathe.
me see.
Just breathe.
That's good.
Stay with us. And enjoy your last day of school tomorrow. Did you have a Christmas party today?
Oh, yes.
What did you do at your Christmas party?
I had cookies out and made an ornament.
And distracting
cool.
is
Do you
the
have your
best
ornament? Can I
thing
see
I
it?
can help myself.
Oh, yeah, but yeah.
Can you go get it for me so I can see it?
And deep down there, there's somewhere a child
Yeah.
who had to learn all of this on her
Oh yeah, I
own.
think our tree needs another ornament. Can you go get it?
I'm not gonna be it.
You can do it.
I
Ian.
think my mom isn't aware of how
Thanks for
dangerous
redirecting him. Hey everybody,
time
meltdowns not very
get.
fun to watch. I know. There
And
is a
I know
reason
she
why we
don't
do
want
videos
to
like this. I know
have
a lot of people just
child
like, hey, don't
who
portray autism
hurt
that way. Just
itself
show rainbows and sunshine
too
and stuff
much.
like that. But it does serve a purpose. It's very important to show this side of autism for those who are caretakers of autism, those who go through this, who have autism.
That's a thing I always want to say, and I commented it, I guess, sometimes. Every autistic child will become an autistic caretaker once they're adults and have no one who can care for them. So I can watch videos that are addressed to autistic caretakers because I'm both. I'm my own caretaker. Because if I couldn't, I wouldn't be anymore. If I don't have my fox, that's missing lots of detail right now because I painted over to make it new. just snuggling with it. Weird.
Themselves. We've actually had a lot of requests for meltdown videos. I don't personally like doing them a lot because I feel like it can raise a lot of questions and concerns for people who don't know that much about autism, even though we're trying to educate. So there's kind of a fine line there. There's just a lot to it. It's exhausting to do videos like this, show our kids.
I had right now the thought I will try, if I recognize that I'm going to explode. It's what I call it most often, because I don't get the meltdown. It's more like nuclear critical nuclear meltdown thing, not just me getting like a child or someone without all of this pressure inside that got. It's a thunderstorm. Now I don't. First I thought it would have been the construction site out of the window that made the boof sound, but it's actually a thunderstorm, and I love thunderstorm. When I was a child, I knew you don't need to be afraid of thunder, it's just sound. Don't need to be afraid of lightning, cause lightning rod. But I also knew at thunderstorm the badgers will come. Is it a word? Badger? Dagger is something else. The ducks, some animal, striped one, looks different in Europe than in America. They will come at some thunderstorm. And I was afraid like hell. I don't know. The badgers will come.
Kids like this. I certainly don't want to make examples out of our kids. This isn't about getting revenge for their bad behavior, because
I have a really beautiful memory where it's give it out thunderstormed heavily when my little brother was still pretty young, I guess, some 3 years old, maybe just 2. His first really loud thunderstorm with really heavy rain and seeing lightning, and we sat on the window bench, the thing at the window where you can sit on, and we watched out, and I holded him. I was some 11, 12 years old, and we watched calmly out and just got from this thunderstorm. No badgers. Just maybe something that is good about a weird big sister. even if it started way too soon, that I was struggling so much that I had to pull myself out because I couldn't handle it any longer. And I'm so sad that I missed much of the lives of my brothers because I just didn't live there. And some 7 to 10 year long time, I basically was that burned out from social stuff that I got unable to visit at family meetings or something because I was so ashamed of being not able to exist any longer. And still I'm here.
That isn't bad behavior.
But that's also the reason why I'm missing connections with my family. My mom and my stepfather were too occupied with the two boys, and I was big enough to make my shit independently, as long as I didn't make any anger or problems. And that's typically what happens when you're out with school and friends and high masking all the time, being that way up in good mood and happiness and connection, and I was longing for connection all the time. And when I got it, and after it came home, my parents knew always the right words to kill it in an instant. And from I love my life and everyone else, it got smashed down to actually no one understands me. Everything is wrong about me. And all what I'm doing and everything I'm happy about just being laughed at or declared as mentally sick and maniac being, basically. And after that, my mom shoved me to the psychiatrist and told them this girl is struggling with mood switches. No, that wasn't. I hadn't randomly mood switches. When someone is punching you in the face while you are in a state of mind of it's the best day of my life and the best day of every being in this world, and someone punches you in the face where it's just hurting the most amount, you don't be happy any longer. You start to cry and run away. And if someone comes to argue with you why you make such a drama, you just throw something next to the wall of this person to hopefully make the person go before you can't stop and hurt yourself and the person or the person and get punished for all of this. And but if you ask my mom, she was always the loving, caring, and warm one. No. But she can't recognize this because I think she would break off it. Because it would destroy everything she thinks to be and wants to be. So what
similar
can
to
I
showing
do?
someone with Tourette's or someone in a wheelchair
I
or
can
someone with
somehow
fibromyalgia
understand
or
it and accept it.
Parkinson's disease or anything like that.
But
It's
it's
to
hurting.
educate others about what those symptoms look like, not to shame them.
Do
What
you
we want
know
to cover in this video
the smell
is
of
about
rain?
sensory meltdowns. A lot of parents don't like to ever put gray area with sensory meltdowns versus tantrums. They want to keep them mutually exclusive and have this big valley in
It's
between the two.
important.
But human emotion and sensory input
That's
and
important.
our biological response are much more complicated than that. I love the movie Inside Out by Pixar because it shows that I think she's a 12-year-old girl having her first mixed emotion. And sometimes that's how it works with sensory meltdowns and tantrums. You can have both at the same time. I bring this up because some people have a hard time telling the difference between the two, and sometimes they're actually the person who has the episode is experiencing both at the same time, kind of like how you can be hungry and angry at the same time. We call it hangry. Yes, there.
And a meltdown because of rejection and being hurt by someone you want to be loved of from. It is so much less painful if you just start to get angry. Because anger is not that painful. It's angry with the same pressure, but instead of breaking apart, you're ripping things apart. It's powerful.
There are times when these things are mutually exclusive, when we have sensory meltdowns versus tantrums. Most books, publications, this is what I'm talking about, a lot of publications.
Most
and I'm not
often, the
getting
only
paid
thing I need
to
is
review
smoking
this book or
ahead,
anything like that,
breathing
but a lot
2 or
of
3
publications that have
times,
to do with
screaming
autism
out
and
what
sensory
makes me
processing
angry, and
disorders, use the terms synonymously rather than exclusively. I think a lot of people try to separate the term tantrum from meltdown because a lot of parents got fed up with people saying, "Oh, all kids throw tantrums."
What's going on,
Like,
Chad?
what are you talking about? It's not.
What's going on?
Every kid has tantrums. You're just trying to excuse bad behavior. And so many parents of people who have autism, I think, got sick of that. That they are trying to separate the terms and say, "No, this is a sensory meltdown. It's because
I would
they have too
love
much
to
stimuli, too much input,
cuddle her, but
and they can't regulate it, and so they just start melting down."
it's
And
not
I
what
think
she
the more
wants.
severe the autism, yes, that's
Judy
the
loved
case.
it.
But like with my kids,
Sorry for talking over
Ian
her.
was our only child who was diagnosed on the severe border, but he's
I
gotten a
know
lot better,
what he's
especially with
talking
medication.
inside
That's
out
something you
because
should look into if you're
I
having a
watch
really hard
it
time
so
with
often.
meltdowns. So generally, the
To
higher functioning the kid,
think back
the more chances they have of a regular, typical
where
tantrum.
my
Okay, they're just like
brothers
any
really
other kid,
struggled
right? We could do a whole video
under
on
the
the key
constantly
differences between
screaming and
a typical
arguing
or
and
neurotypical
yelling
temper
of my
tantrum and
mom.
autism sensory meltdown.
Hey, they got a
But
dad.
basically, the simple things
Cool
to keep in
dad
mind
for
are this.
2 little boys.
When you see your child looking back at you for a confirmation,
Little
if
helpless
they're very clear in
stepdad
their speech
for
and they're not slurring
some
their
lonely
speech,
girl.
if you give them what they want, not that I'm recommending you do that,
He
but if
tried,
you just tested them and
but
you gave them what
it
they
wasn't
wanted,
the same.
and then the bad behavior stops.
And I'm glad and proud of him that he actually got to be honest while drunk one day and said, yes, it wasn't the same. I couldn't love you like I loved my own 2 boys. And that was the moment where I stopped hating him and where I started not only to accept him as father for my boys, my brothers, but as cool and honest dude who can accept things, he didn't gut feeling. I don't know. It's the only thing I wish for from my mom. That she says, yes, you had the need of attention and someone who cared about you. Because an 11, 12-year-old needs caretakers still. And also a 14-year-old, instead of killing herself, running away to save her life, because it was unbearable. Of course, only seen as the worry the mother got. It's only about her these days. And I have nothing against being about her. But it's kind of flipped around a little bit, I guess. Should be the other way around. The mother should teach the child how to understand other beings and oneself, not other way. I don't know. And just because I dare to say you didn't give me the attention I needed, something she always gets back on the argumenting stuff. In any case, when I try to be as kind and loving and understanding to tell her that it's totally okay, that she isn't perfect. No one is. But then always comes to topic, and you, what have you done? Ba 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 ba. I know I have done wrong things, but I think she would love me more if I had killed myself. Fucking shit. And this is a fact she will never be able to realize. That's true, I guess. But sorry, mommy, I do not kill myself, just that you can love me and not being angry about me running away from home. I'm angry about her, on her, but the only thing I want is that she recognizes that there were problems, and the problems didn't came out of myself from nothing. And no child develops such problems with no problems around. And